Good morning, friends. This is Pastor Glenn coming to you from Good Shepherd from the cafe. And I'm standing in front of my good friend, the OWL. And OWL stands for Older Wiser Lutheran. And we're having a little debate here whether it stands for servants or saints. And to me, it's both. You are saints by declaration of Jesus' work, finished work on the cross. But to be a saint, you serve. And so it's a wonderful opportunity for me to just encourage you, cast a little vision, and say, I really support this ministry. There are close to 1,000 people that somehow are touched by Good Shepherd that fall in that demographic called OWLS. I'm one of them. I hit 60 years old this year, and I am an OWL. So I am a little bit older. I am definitely Lutheran. I serve a lot. I don't always think of myself as a saint, but it's the wiser part that I want to talk about. How do you become wiser? Yesterday I was hanging out with my grandkids, and I don't have to ask them to ask questions and to learn and to be curious. They ask why. They're always curious and always playful. Last night I was with a group of college and graduate students. They ask questions differently, but they are interested in the world and they are curious. Something happens after that, though. We become adults and we become older and we think we know what we know, which is great, we do. But there's a lot that we don't know. So I want to challenge all of you to stay on the learning curve. I don't care what number is attached to your age, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, I don't care. You never stop learning. Jesus is the master teacher, and the kingdom is all pervasive. It invades all of our lives. So everything from finances to sex to food to nutrition to friendships to spirituality to theology all comes under the lordship of Jesus Christ, who is the master teacher. And I'm grateful that we have a ministry about OWLS, for OWLS, and part of that ministry is a learning component. I think you can take advantage of that in a number of different ways. We have 6 different worship services on Saturday and Sunday mornings. Certainly that is a learning component. We teach and preach regularly through the Bible. If you're not getting out to services, I want to encourage you to do that. If you can't get out to services, make sure that you download the audio podcasts because the messages are prepared every week. We also have a number of ministries that all of you are invited to be part of, from women's ministries, men's ministries, throughout the week, small groups that meet. Those include opportunities for OWLS. And then there are some specific learning opportunities coming up for the OWLS. I think you've had some book discussions and are planning some further book discussions. If you have some ideas for that, let your learning team know. They certainly would like to know the kinds of things that you're interested in. I think some things that we want to make sure that you have access to is information about financial health. What does it look like to manage your finances into those senior decades and into those decades where you do need to be wiser about limited finances? So we want to make sure you have opportunities for that. We have some upcoming significant topics. We're going to be partnering with the Salem Christian Center, perhaps, to talk about loving your neighbor. How do we live as Christians faithful to what Jesus has called us to be in a world that's filled with other religions and people who think differently than us? We want to learn how to do that in a way that's faithful to Jesus. Some trips to various opportunities around Chicago. Did you know that Chicago is the theological capital of the world? There are more seminaries in Chicago than probably anywhere else on the planet. There are more learning opportunities from the Museum of Science and Industry and Field Museum and Oriental Institute. I have personally been to those places. I want my mind to be stretched. I want to learn and grow. So friends, I'm just challenging you as your pastor and as a teacher to make sure that you continue to stay hungry and curious and playful. How does the world work and what can you learn? But also be willing to share that wisdom with people who have not had the opportunity to live the life that you've lived. So once again, let me just put a final T and cross the T's and dot the I's. You are older, wiser Lutheran servants. Part of the way you serve is you stay curious and you learn. Let me challenge you to keep doing that, and OWLS is a significant way to stay a learning person. Thanks. In Jesus' name, I love you all.
Oh, are we filming already? Oh, I was just taking a drink from this fashionable mug that you gave me. Hello, everyone. We celebrate the OWLS ministry. We celebrate each and every one of you. It's a joy to be with you tonight. I had the privilege of getting to work with the team that helped start the OWLS ministry, and it has been such an incredible journey to see this ministry grow and flourish. Although I think I've been spending so much time with the OWLS that it's been changing how people are viewing me. True story. After worship the other day, someone came up to me and said, "I heard you're retiring." Really? Yes. That would be wonderful, but I think I have a few years left before I can do that. So you're rubbing off on me. But in all seriousness, it has been such a great joy to track with the OWLS ministry, and I give thanks to God for everything that you are doing together. I get to celebrate specifically tonight the value of fellowship. And this is a biblical value of great importance. I wanted to read a few scriptures for you. The first one is from Matthew 18:20. Jesus said, "For where 2 or 3 come together in my name, there I am with them." What a promise. Jesus says when we come together in his name, he promises to be with us. And when we gather together in fellowship, that's how we can grow together, support each other, encourage each other to do God's work. The second scripture lifts that up. It's from Hebrews chapter 10. It says, "And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Fellowship is such a strong biblical value. We were created to be together. And the OWLS ministry is taking the value of fellowship very seriously under the leadership of Bill and Carol Gates and several other great leaders. And you've had some wonderful fellowship moments over the past few years. One of them was the fire pit. We heard so much good stuff about that. People had fun together, and they learned things about each other that they may not have learned before. Bill Gates was telling me that he's known Harley for years, but it was at the fire pit that he learned that Harley plays piano. Just one of the gifts of fellowship is learning about each other. And speaking of that, another huge success was the Learning from Experience event that Bob Dean helped facilitate. You had a chance to connect with people, talk with people you might never have talked with before, share stories, learn from the wealth of each other's experience. It was a great fellowship event and learning event. And that's one of the gifts that I think the OWLS has to offer this church, the wealth of your experience and wisdom. We're so grateful that you're able to share that with each other and share that with our church. Now, even though you've had some successes, there have been setbacks along the way. For example, you scheduled the trolley ride, but it was too cold and it got canceled. You scheduled a riverboat cruise, but the water levels were too high and that got canceled too. But you didn't give up. You didn't let it get you down. You just kept moving forward. And as this video is being filmed, we had a second riverboat cruise that was a great success. The weather, the turnout, people had a great time together. And that's a sign of good leadership. People who can navigate challenges and setbacks and keep moving forward for the sake of God's kingdom. And I want to celebrate your leadership. I mean, you have a great team of leaders. The steering team has 10 people strong, headed up by John Naperville and Carol Axelson. I hope you show these leaders love tonight because they are some of the most faithful, dedicated, hardworking leaders in our church. And one of the calls to action that you're going to get tonight is a call to think about being part of the leadership team, whether that means attending an event, whether that means joining OWLS, or whether that means stepping up to be a leader. The more leaders you have, the more you can do. And with every new leader, God brings new vision, new perspective. And so we call all people out to be leaders. And if you're not a leader yet, here's something I know about you. God has given you gifts and passions, and when you use those for God, it brings great joy and purpose into your life. I was talking with the steering team, and they were saying just how much fun they've had. It's been hard work, but they've had so much fun and found so much meaning in the work that they're doing. So we call you to be leaders. In addition to that, another big call to action is partnership. And you've already been doing this. Speaking of fellowship, You helped other people in our church have fellowship. For example, many of the OWLS were a part of the Blessing of the Backpacks meal that we did for our family worship event. Family worship is something new that we've wanted to bring to Good Shepherd to help our families with young children worship together. And we recognize that fellowship is a key part of that. And by providing a meal, we give families an opportunity to connect and build relationships with each other. And you helped to do that. And so we ask you to encourage you to think about, keep looking for new ways to partner with other ministries. Our church needs the OWLS ministry. And so we thank you for all the ways you're partnering and are excited to see new partnerships unfold. Well, once again, thanks for being here tonight. Thank you for all that you have done in and through our church. We celebrate the OWLS ministry and pray that God would continue to use this ministry to reach and transform spiritually distracted people so we all love and serve God. Good night.
First of all, tonight I want to thank the OWLS for all that you have been doing and that you will be doing. When I think of the OWLS, I know that it stands for Older Wiser Lutheran Servants, and I am so grateful for the Good Shepherd OWLS. You know, in our society today, OWLS, or older I should say, is not necessarily a term of endearment, but it is for me. Recently, my wife and I became grandparents. She's Grammy, I'm Grampy, and I got to tell you, I love being an older, I don't know about wiser Lutheran servant for my grandchild. In fact, I've got pictures. If you'd like to see them, I can make sure that we have plenty of time to do that, and we can make that happen. But when I think of older, wiser, I'm reminded of the incredible relationship I had with my own grandparents. And you know, in our community here at Good Shepherd, we have a lot of folks who are dislocated from their families. And grandparents are a big deal. And many of our OWLS, like me, have an opportunity to be grandparent figures for children here at Good Shepherd. That happens in our Vacation Bible School ministry, where OWLS have actively come and served. In fact, this year at Good Shepherd, we had the largest Vacation Bible School we've ever had in the history of Good Shepherd. And that was made successful in part because our OWLS, the OWLS who packed the Vacation Bible School materials and prepared for it, and also engaged in leadership roles. It was phenomenal. We had OWLS that were involved in our Eternal Impact this year, and they not only participated in existing ministry, but they provided incredible leadership for which we are grateful. One of the great OWL functions that has happened has been the care packages, the birthday bags that the OWLS established. And I got to tell you, when we deliver those birthday bags to people who are either homebound or people who are in a care center, I wish you could be there with us when you see the joy. Relationships are caring is one of the core values of Good Shepherd. And OWLS have personified that in so many ways. The expressions of gratitude and joy that comes from those birthday bags that the OWLS have prepared is unparalleled. So when I think of OWLS, the older, wiser, those are terms of endearment. I think not only of my grandparents, I think of mentors who have come alongside of me and helped me grow and learn to participate, learn to be a leader. The value of the OWLS ministry at Good Shepherd is incredible. I also want to focus a little bit more on the serving part of the OWLS, Older Wiser Lutheran Servants. We have so many phenomenal Lutheran servants here that are part of our OWLS ministry. Some of those ministries existed before OWLS came into existence about 4 years ago, like our Friday Folders has been going for many, many years. And yet we have OWLS who are part of Friday Folders. We have OWLS who regularly have prepared the sanctuary and the worship service for worship, either with the bulletins or with the prayer packets, and before that, getting the pencils and the cards straight in worship. But OWLS have served also as communion assistants and ushers and in a whole wide variety of leadership roles. We are so grateful for our mentors, our leaders who are part of the OWLS ministry. We want to commend our OWLS because truly you are in an area of ministry that is impacting the lives of so many, not only at Good Shepherd, but in our whole community. The events that are offered, that you bring your friends to and that you are participating in, the ways in which you can serve on a committee to provide leadership, the ways in which you, by God's grace, are being leaders for our community makes a difference. It impacts lives. It's vision aligned. Our vision at Good Shepherd is to reach and transform spiritually distracted, and God is doing that in wonderful and powerful ways through OWLS ministry. I am so grateful for the OWLS, not only to be in that age category, but also to be part of the OWLS. I'm so grateful for the fellowship events like the boat trip that you just went on. I'm so grateful for the learning opportunities that you have had and that are coming up in the future. I'm so grateful for the incredible ways in which the OWLS serve. The ministry of Good Shepherd is richer and better and more impactful because of the OWLS ministry. And I give God so many thanks for that. OWLS at Good Shepherd are lifelong learners, they're lifelong servers, and they're lifelong blessers. Why do I say that? They're lifelong blessers because through your serving, you have blessed so many people. And I'm looking forward to the people you're going to invite to be part of that. I'm looking forward to the ways you're going to serve by being leaders in the future as we look to the next generation. I'm looking forward with gratefulness in my heart, both for all the things you have done and the things that God is going to continue to do through you. Thank you, OWLS.
I got mugged by the owls.
I got mugged by the OWLS.
I got mugged by the owls.
Hi, I'm Carol Axelson, and I'd like to share with you today a little bit about an initiative that we have here in the OWLS, and it's called the Birthday Bags. And the Birthday Bags is a program that we started, many months ago, and it is visiting people who are either in a care center, an assisted living, who happen to be homebound and have other health issues that they can't participate in many of the Good Shepherd events going on. So I'd like to share a personal experience that Cheryl Anderson and I had. And we visited a woman that comes to our church. She has several mobility issues, so her participation is quite limited. And so we brought her a birthday bag, visited her at her house, and she was so delighted to have us come. In the birthday bag was, of course, the OWLS mug, and we brought her a plant and a devotional book and several other small items. We spent at least 2 hours with her just talking, which she expressed was so meaningful. And I guess one of the delightful things at the very end, with tears in her eyes, she looked at us and she said, "Except for my family, I never knew that somebody could do something so wonderful for me." And I think that just shows the impact that the Birthday Bag Initiative has through the OWLS. So we hope that each one of you will consider participating in that and being involved with OWLS.
One of the great ministries we have here at Good Shepherd is the Visitation Care Team. And we have some incredible servants who happen to be OWLS who are a part of that ministry. So Jan Cahoot, one of our Visitation Care Team members, is here today to tell us a little bit about what that ministry is and what it means to her. Jan?
Well, that ministry is that we go and visit our shut-ins. And we bring in the bulletins and the prayer and action guide from church, and then we sit and visit with them. And one of the most rewarding things is when we see them and they get this big smile on their face and how much they appreciate the fact that we're visiting with them, we're bringing them news from the church, and it does so much for us. It rewards us just the same. When we walk out and we have this, all of a sudden, a smile on our face, like they've given back to us as much as we've given them.
So one of the core values of Good Shepherd is that relationships are caring, and the visitation care team does that. So you know, as a community, that one of the ways we do that is that every person who is either homebound or who is in a care center receives a regular visit from a Good Shepherd member. Many of those, most of them are OWLS. And it's a way for us to demonstrate that relationships are truly caring. It's an incredibly impactful ministry in which the people stay connected to the church. So, Jan, if you could just share, you shared some of this already, but if you could just share what the depth of that relationship means to you.
Oh, the depth of that relationship is wonderful because you become such good friends with them, and they look forward to you coming to see them all the time. And actually, you get to know them so well, and they get to know us. And sometimes the conversations are just general about, well, if you're visiting the women, they're cooking and what they did in traditions in their lives and stuff. And it just makes us both feel really good. I mean, you really become friends with these people, and you get to know them so well, and they're so happy to see you.
I thank God for our visitation care team composed of OWLS, because it truly is a way of expressing God's love in tangible ways with members here at Good Shepherd. So I am grateful for our visitation care team and Jan Cahoot and all the others who are part of that team.
If you're looking for ways to partner, I have a great opportunity for you. As a chaplain with the Naperville Police Department, I've gotten the chance to help start Keystone Prayer, which is weekly prayer gatherings at the police department. And we gather to pray for the top concerns of our community and to pray for the police department that helps keep our community safe. I've had several of our OWLS members be a part of that prayer. We meet weekly on Wednesdays at noon and 7 p.m. And one of the side benefits is that we've really developed some great community with those who are gathering for prayer, and we've seen God answer in neat and exciting ways. And so we invite you not just to partner with our church, but also to find ways to partner with our community. And Keystone Prayer would be a great way. And if you're interested, just let me know.
Hi, I'm Nancy Shogler, and I'm here at Friday Folders now. And through Friday Folders, we have come up with a care team. And our care team meets once a month after our Friday Folder meeting. And then we discuss and talk about people that we're going to visit and why we're going to visit them, and if they have family or friends, and maybe we can just help them out a little. I think probably one of the most important things is that we share God's love through that ministry. And we can bring that love to them because they have been members of Good Shepherd Church. And because they've been members and now are shut-ins and can't come, we just feel that we want to bring that connection back to them. And also through the OWLS group, they have birthday bags that we bring to them when it's their birthday, and they love it. They love to just know that the church and the people at Friday Folders and all in the church are still thinking of them, and they are still part of our community.
I am Harley Shoger. I have been a Stephen minister for many years. I have sort of retired from that, but I still do visitation in nursing homes. I go to Plainfield and Naperville and Oswego and Aurora. I take communion for Pastor Gary to these shut-ins. They seem to enjoy my visit. They always have many questions about the church. The people that I meet and go to see are always very glad to see me and know what's going on in the church. I always take a bulletin and a devotion booklet and communion.
And another activity that the OWLS have planned in February of 2019 is having Pastor Glenn do another God's Underwater World, which was a big success when we did it the last time. So Pastor Glenn, can you explain?
Sure. The last time I came, I showed a bunch of pictures from a variety of trips that I've been on. But between now and the time I'm going to see you in early 2019, I will have taken a couple of more trips. Some locally here in Lake Michigan, And I don't know if you know it, but there's a lot of shipwrecks in Lake Michigan, and they're preserved really well because Lake Michigan is cold. So I'll be dry suit diving down in Lake Michigan. Because of the zebra mussels, they clear out the water. The water in Lake Michigan is really clear. I'll also be taking a trip to Florida and maybe a trip to, I'm not sure, an undisclosed location with lots of whales and lots of sharks. So trust me, this is going to be an awesome evening where we talk about how God loves this world. 70% of it is covered by water, and I get to go under the water and bring back pictures and images, and you get to enjoy that evening.
Thank you. Okay, just another announcement that in April, Craig Parsons has agreed to come in and do a Sunday afternoon song fest, and we'll do some old hymns and some gospel singing and whatever his imagination will allow. But that'll be about 45 minutes on a Sunday afternoon, and then followed by an ice cream social where you get all ice cream and the toppings and the cookies and the cake that you can eat. So I'll see you there.